Hello, I decided to do my final presentation on Google Slides. It is a perfect way for both teachers and students to interact should they be doing a project um, and working together collaboratively. I've recently used this at school to work with grade level teachers and the principal um, to put together slides for our lighthouse status for Leader and Me. So I found that it's very beneficial to use on a professional level, and it would be easy to incorporate into an educational online setting. My philosophy of online teaching would include the online teacher should know their curriculum and be able to engage their students in multiple ways. The teacher should be able to differentiate for all students and their individual needs and interests. Um, Students will be assessed throughout the lesson and units to help guide instruction. I think it is very important for students to play a role in their learning and for the teacher to be aware that not all students may be interested in the topic they are learning about and be aware that they may need to adapt the curriculum and lesson for each individual student based on that. Um, Engaging your students in multiple ways is very important. Some students learn better hands-on. Some students learn better visually or auditorily. Um, so just being able to engage their students and know what will work best for them. My role as an online teacher would be a facilitator of learning, a moderator to moderate any conversations that may be happening, and to step in when needed if a discussion has gone too far or if there's inappropriate things happening on the online discussion forum. Um, and most importantly, the online teacher should be a learner as well. Students provide various insights into various topics depending on their interest. Um, and you're learning along with them how to use the various instructional tools and collaboration tools throughout the project. You may find something new. And to be a learner in the respect that things in education are changing, and it's very important to make sure that you are learning what's best for your students. The unit that I would do would be elementary science. I feel like it would be best suited in a blended environment where students would come in weekly for hands-on experiments during the unit, and students would also be able to come in for extra help or contact the teacher virtually with questions they may have. The unit that I had planned throughout the course was about our Earth. Some of the things that I could do, we discussed landforms in first grade, be able to provide the students with virtual tours of various landform examples around the world. This year we did a virtual tour of the Grand Canyon to talk about erosion. We also in our classroom did a hands-on activity where they created their landforms with Play-Doh. So having the students come in and do that the week we were discussing landforms would be something that I would encourage. Discussing changes to our Earth, having the students do some sort of research project and presenting it via Google Slides or MindMeister, or some other collaborative tool about the changes that we've seen to the Earth's surface. And that week they may come in for the hands-on erosion experiment. The last lesson or unit section to this unit would be how to protect our Earth. We talk about reduce, reuse, recycle, and that could be a synchronous lesson of, or synchronous discussion rather of what we can do to protect our earth and what students have done and what they do in their families, maybe what they can change during that lesson. They would be able to come in and create a hands-on project using tools or something that they would like to recycle and change into something different, using the idea of reducing, reusing, and recycling. My class this year did birdhouses out of milk cartons to talk about recycling. This could also be done without the students coming in. They would be able to come up with something from their home. I remember when I was in first grade, we actually created our own animal out of recyclable projects. So they would be able to do their reduce, reuse, recycling project, record it, and present it to the class of what they did, show some pictures, even maybe create a video of them turning the objects into something else and present it to the class. And then the class would be able to come back and discuss asynchronously about maybe ideas that they have about the project, what they thought about what the student did, and really, have a discussion about why it's important to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and other things that they could do with those topics. Integrating synchronous, asynchronous, and collaboration tools into my lesson. Synchronous, I said, would be the introduction to the topic or the lesson with interaction between teachers and students, also working on a project together in real time. That could also be done asynchronously. Discussion boards would be available to the students where the teacher would pose questions. Also, students may be able to pose questions at that time for other students to come back and discuss. Students would be able to display their projects, and the teacher would encourage the student interactions to the others' questions or projects. The collaboration tools, students would be able to use various tools to present student projects or teacher-led lessons, such as Google Slides, MindMeisters, could be used by the students also during the lesson to create notes or even complete projects for the classroom. I believe this unit would fit into online learning perfectly because science allows collaborative tools, synchronous and asynchronous learning to be easily integrated. Projects and presentations would be given to the class through collaborative tools, and it could be done in a group project about how to protect our Earth. Discussion posts where students and teachers can pose questions about the unit and have a discussion about the topic. I believe that's where a lot of the learning would be able to be seen, in that collaboration and in the talking between the students. The student and teacher interaction during the presentation of the lesson, allowing for questions to be asked and information provided by the teacher to be questioned by the students, and even for the students to bring their own background knowledge into the conversation and talk to the teacher about things that they have experienced that maybe the teacher never thought about. I really think that that would be fantastic to do through the reduce, reuse, and recycle lesson, and even through landforms. Maybe the students have seen an area of a landform that the teacher may not have seen, and they could present to the class when they went to visit a plateau or a time when they went to visit the beach, and really make it relatable to them and other students. Some special considerations that would need to be done when teaching an online classroom or even an online unit would be students' capabilities. Are they able to use various technologies? How familiar are they? Are they tech savvy? Will they pick things up easily? Those are some things that you need to consider. Also, students' interest. If a student is interested in the topic, you can give them more information or really push them to go beyond the curriculum that you're teaching, and work really hard to demonstrate their understanding. Something else that's important to consider would be the student's socioeconomic status. Can they afford the tools or technology that are required for the course? Are they coming to the class hungry or tired because they're not sure of when they're going to get food to eat, or mom and dad were up fighting all night, so they're coming to school tired? What does their personal life look like? Are they involved in a lot of extracurricular activities? Are they going to have the ability to complete the assignment in the allotted amount of time? Are they going to need an extension or because of their after school activities? And that communication between students, teachers, and parents would really need to be had at that point. Some other things to consider is, does the student have an IEP or other educational needs or modifications, such as a 504 plan or other things that they might need? Do your tests or do your lessons need to be modified in some way? Like, do they need more time to complete a project, or do they need more time to take a test? Do they need additional technological resources, such as closed captioning or their visual needs? Do your presentations need to be in certain colors or the ability to be changed to certain colors for students to be able to see what is happening? My takeaway from this course has been a couple of things. My biggest ahas, there are various tools available at our disposal to bring technology into the classroom, both online and brick and mortar. I was amazed to see how similar the online classroom really was to the brick and mortar classroom. I think I sat through the first grade video session that we had to watch and thought, wow, these kids are doing the same thing in the chat box that the kids that I have in my classroom sitting in front of me do on a daily basis. They're having side conversations and just being first graders. So I thought that was really interesting. And also, like, the ability to incorporate online education into brick and mortar classrooms, that they are still able to be in the classroom and complete online assignments. Some questions that I had were, where is online education heading, and how will online education affect brick and mortar schools? My next question is, how can districts best use the availability of online learning and the resources that are provided for them? My last question would be, will states begin to add online learning standards to their established brick and mortar learning standards? Because we had to go out of Pennsylvania state standards and look at specifically the online educational standards for teachers. Like, how will the state incorporate those into their already base standards? So I really enjoyed this class, and I am coming away with a lot of information that I can use in my everyday brick and mortar classroom.